Brought to you by Surfshark. On screen now, you see the Indiana Senate handing Donald Trump a massive loss as they refuse to even vote on the potential redistricting, the gerrymandering that would have rigged the 2026 midterms in Donald Trump's favor. Now, Indiana is my home state, so I've been following this closely, and we got the news just yesterday that the Republican leader of the Indiana Senate says the chamber will not meet to redraw the state's congressional map, rejecting pressure from Trump and the state's governor. This made Donald Trump launch into a long tirade on Truth Social. This dude wrote like a novel. It's like a book just going off on specific individuals in the state of Indiana because they refuse to cave to the president of the United States pressure. Even Vice President J.D. Vance visited Indiana lawmakers, had meetings behind closed doors that we're just now learning about, and Republican legislative leaders were like, dude, we're not going to just skewer our entire state's map. Like, J.D. Vance was asking them to skewer the map with surgical precision in such a way that this illegal gerrymandering, which is like technically legal, but you're not supposed to do it in the mid-cycle in 2025. You do it based on the census in 2020. Or the census in 2030, every 10 years. So there's technically a loophole where they're asking Indiana legislators to carve this up, and they're like, no, we're not going to do this. Trump's team pressured for a special session in December. They said, all we want is a special session in December, and then we learned Indiana Senate Pro Tem Rod Bray says Republicans don't have the votes. The Senate will not even reconvene in December, which is a massive win for democracy, win for the American people, win for the people of Indiana who want democracy and want to be able to vote and have legislation, but a loss for MAGA Republicans, Donald Trump, and other fascists. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe, and let's jump in to Donald Trump's response, which is manic. It's schizophrenic. He's backed into a corner due to the economy, due to the Epstein files, and he knows the midterms are looming. I just set up with my producer a nice cozy little background. So we're going to be making a bunch of videos, 6, 7, 8, 9 videos a day over the next few years. We are not slowing down. We are starting this debate show as well. So make sure you're subscribed below. Donald Trump said, very disappointed in Indiana State Senate Republicans, led by Rhino Senators Rod Bray and Greg Good, for not wanting to redistrict their state, allowing the United States Congress to perhaps gain 2 more Republican seats. He called 2 great Republicans of the state of Indiana Rhinos. He is trying to exclude anybody who is not radical enough. Even people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are not radical enough for him. Even people like Thomas Massie are not radical enough for him. Anybody who will not change the way the game is played and rig it towards him is a rhino. Just remember, 4.5 years ago, on January 2nd, Donald Trump called Brad Raffensperger of Georgia and asked him to find votes to rig the election. When Republican Brad Raffensperger, a lifelong Republican, said, dude, there's no election fraud. I can't just find the exact amount of votes. Trump called him a rhino and tried to ruin his career. He might have successfully made Brad Raffensperger rethink his political career. Brad Raffensperger is still a Secretary of State, but he testified in front of Congress one time and he was saying this shook him to the core. So now Donald Trump is targeting these 2 names. What did Marjorie Taylor Greene just say? When Trump puts out your name on Truth Social, it is essentially a target on your back. So he then says, the Democrats have done redistricting for years, often illegally, and all other appropriate Republican states have done it. Texas is the only one that has done it in the manner he wants. Because of these 2 politically correct type gentlemen, in quotes, and a few others, they could be depriving Republicans of a majority in the House. A very big deal. California is trying to pick up 5 seats, and no one is complaining about that. Oh, trust me, people are complaining about that. Many Republicans are spending millions of dollars trying to prevent that, but California is only doing it directly proportionate to Texas. Directly proportionate, and they're doing it democratically through a vote. He says, it's weak Republicans that cause our country such problems. It's why we have crazy policies and ideas that are so bad for America. Also, a friend of mine, Governor Mike Braun, perhaps, is not working the way he should to get the necessary votes. So now Donald Trump is targeting Governor Mike Braun. He's targeting red state governors as well. Considering that Mike wouldn't be governor without me, not even close, is disappointing. Any Republican that votes against the important redistricting, potentially having an impact on America itself, should be primaried. America is a state with strong, smart, and patriotic people. It's true. I'm from Indiana. I'm from Northwest Indiana. I grew up in Valparaiso. And the fact that Donald Trump is targeting people by name, he says again, Senators Bray, Good, and the others, to be released to the public later this afternoon, should do their job and do it now. The last time he told somebody from Indiana to do their job, it was Mike Pence, saying Mike Pence didn't do what needed to be done. And then people were outside the Capitol chanting to hang Mike Pence because he wouldn't overthrow a completely democratic election. Now, about 4.5 years, almost 5 years later, we see Marjorie Taylor Greene at the receiving end of that same MAGA ire. And she's like, what the hell? I didn't realize that the leopard could eat my face. I didn't realize that the dog could bite me, the same dog that she's been training over and over and over to bite Democrats. I just want to give some kind, supportive words. This reads, this is Republican State Senator Greg Good. He's a public figure, so this isn't doxing or anything. He's a public figure who successfully helped lead the Republican opposition to gerrymander Indiana. He is a true patriot. He deserves all of our support. If you live in Indiana, obviously we don't agree with some of the Republicans in the state, but many Republicans or many centrist people watch this show, and it's good to have people who stand up for democracy, who appreciate America, even if we disagree. It says, now Trump is attacking him on social media and threatening a primary challenge. Retweet to thank Senator Gregory J. Good for putting country over party. These primary challenges are going to become more and more toothless as Donald Trump gets more and more out of touch with the American people. Here's the broad bird's eye view of how the Trump presidency is going. People care the most about the economy and affordability. It always has been this way. Trump knew this. He leveraged this when he campaigned. He made a lot of promises. But when he got into office, he was sidetracked by like James Comey, by tariffs, by Greenland. He was sidetracked by Viktor Orban and Putin and other side missions. And he knows this, by the way. Trump knows that he got sidetracked. That's why he's been trying to talk about affordability more. But throughout the 9-10 months that he's been in office, people have seen a lack of quality of life improvement. They've seen a decrease in quality of life due to an increase in the cost of goods. At the same time, we all see the prices rising, and we also see the lack of transparency coming from this administration, which is not a good combination. Even Biden kind of made this mistake where he told the American people that things were getting better, and even if technically some indicators were getting better, it's not a good thing to say when people don't feel that. When people don't feel that shit, it's not a good thing to say life is getting better. So from there, it backfired on him. Donald Trump is doing that times 10, gaslighting the American people, saying that things are getting better, and he knows the midterms aren't going to go his way. That's why he's desperately trying to issue primaries against people who don't want to redistrict the entire state in a semi-illegal manner that might kind of not be illegal because the courts didn't challenge it. So I'm going to leave it there. Just know that Donald Trump is struggling. That's why he's trying to cheat. That's why he has to cheat. And we will continue to double down on asking for transparency, affordability, and an administration that gives a shit about Americans. I love you all, and peace out. And really quickly, I've been using Surfshark VPN for a while now, while I travel, while I'm at a coffee shop, and honestly, it's one of those tools that quietly fixes a lot of the internet's problems you didn't even realize you had. I was trying to book a flight the other day amidst all the chaos, and I noticed the price jumped a bunch, $100 in between searches. So I connected through a different country using Surfshark. I logged into Surfshark, I used their VPN, and the flight became a lot cheaper because the airline, the website, can sometimes try to upcharge you. That's one of the big perks of Surfshark. It lets you change your virtual location. I watched Netflix the other day from another country, and I was allowed to see like 20 more shows that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. That is another perk of Surfshark. They have coverage in over 100 countries, and it's on any device you want. Your phone, your laptop, your tablet, your smart TV. It's great for privacy. They don't keep any of your logs or your browsing history, and they've got a kill switch for extra security. They've got great support, and you should check out surfshark.com/Mockler and use code Mockler to get 4 months for free. That is 4 months for free if you click the top link in the description, surfshark.com/Mockler. Thank you to Surfshark. Thank you to you all.